What's up, guys? Rick here with the top 5 fades for the PGA Championship this week. A couple of things. When I say fade, that's all relative, right? So if I talk about a favorite player or one of the top betting favorites and I say it's a fade, it generally means I don't think he's going to win the golf tournament, right? Or I don't think he's going to finish in the top 5. If I say fade a guy in, who's 70 to 1 or 80 to 1, maybe I don't think he's going to even make the cut. So remember that this is all relative. It is looking at recent form, potentially tournament history, what their ownership might be. There are different reasons to fade or stay away from different golfers. So I just want to put that out there before we begin and let you know this is new content that I'm trying out this week to see what is popular. So if you like this or you don't like this, that's fine. Just let me know. Looking for a little feedback, leave a comment or tweet me at RickRunGood and I'll know what to continue with or not to continue with moving forward. All right, let's jump into the top 5 fades for the PGA Championship. Let's start with Rory McIlroy. Yes, unfortunately, I love Rory, but at $10,700 on DraftKings at 14 to 1 to win the golf tournament, I cannot be an investor. And again, this is relative. Do I think Rory McIlroy is going to make the cut? Certainly. Do I think he's going to finish in the top 25? Yeah, maybe. But at this price and for the pedigree that Rory McIlroy has, he really needs to go out and maybe win this golf tournament or at least finish in the top 3 or 4, which I'm a little bit concerned about that happening. And the reason that I'm concerned is the iron game for Rory McIlroy. If you look at his last 20 rounds on the PGA Tour, those are all the measured rounds that he has played since the restart. He has gained only 1.9 strokes total on approach. Total. That is essentially tour average. To put that into perspective, in his last 20 measured rounds before the break, Rory McIlroy had gained 21 strokes on approach, essentially 1 stroke per round. Now he is a tour level player. So unless he can flip the switch, which usually does not happen with strokes gained approach because it's such an important stat. It is a stat that usually you see it coming, right? There's not usually a lot of variance in strokes gained approach. I'm a little bit worried until we start seeing the flashes of Rory that we saw before the shutdown. So for me, I'm not going to be investing $10,700 on DraftKings. I'm not going to be betting him at 14 to 1. I'm going to take a pass on Rory McIlroy. Let's talk about Tiger Woods as a fade. And of course, this hurts me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out and wins the golf tournament and notches his 16th major championship. But there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. We are going to have a fairly chilly major championship in San Francisco. TPC Harding Park right on the water. You get that mist, that breeze, that fog can roll in. His 8:30 a.m. tee time on Thursday is probably going to be a little bit frigid. And for a guy that we know loves it hot and humid so that he can get that back loose, I'm really worried about what the weather could potentially do this week at TPC Harding Park. We already have a quote from him this week talking about he will have a smaller range of motion with the way that the weather is expected to be this week in San Francisco, which is already a little bit concerning. And when the last time we saw him at Muirfield Village, he was fine on approach. He was okay off the tee. It was the putter that really let him down. And that's the one thing that you need a lot of reps. And if you can't get the back loosened up and you can't get those reps on the putting green, it's difficult to make putts. So as much as this hurts me to say, it's not necessarily as much about Tiger's game as it is about Tiger's potential health. I'm looking for him back again in warmer weather situations where I think the back has a better chance to respond positively. My next fade is Adam Scott, and quite frankly, this is probably the one that's going to backfire the most, but I just have a hard time believing that Adam Scott, who has not played any events since the tour was shut down, this is the first time we are going to see him. I'm not sure that you're able to even kind of hit the ground running immediately. And we've seen this more recently with Tommy Fleetwood was a good example from a couple of weeks ago, missing the cut at the 3M because he took the even longer extended break than a lot of other guys did. And now we're 8 weeks on tour plus another 12 that we had a shutdown. We're 20 weeks out from seeing Adam Scott, and he's going to be thrust immediately into major championship-like conditions. I talk a lot about how difficult it is to replicate regular PGA Tour conditions on your practice rounds or things like that to get your reps in, to get ready. Throw that all out the window because it's even more difficult to replicate major championship-like conditions like you're going to see at TPC Harding Park this week. So this one, with as good as Adam Scott is long-term, as good as his swing is and always is, this is the one that I think might backfire the most, but I'm not going to be investing in Adam Scott. I'll be taking a much more wait-and-see approach. My next fade is Matthew Fitzpatrick, and quite frankly, I might have a blind spot for Matthew Fitzpatrick. I have been saying that his results have been unsustainable for a couple of weeks. He continues to prove me wrong, so I might just have egg on my face here, continuing to double and triple down on Matthew Fitzpatrick as a fade. But the reason that I think this has to come to an end at some point is the putting numbers. I want to talk about what he has done in the restart. And I pulled up the best putting performances of Matthew Fitzpatrick's career. And the WGC FedEx St. Jude last week, he gained 10 strokes putting. That's his best event ever by far. His next best event was the 8.1 he gained at the Memorial. His fifth best ever was the 5.9 he gained at the RBC Heritage, and his sixth best ever was the 5.4 he gained at Charles Schwab. So to put that into perspective, 4 of his 6 best putting performances ever in his career have come in the restart. So he has either found something that has made him the greatest putter to walk the face of the earth, or regression is coming. I like to think it's the latter. However, I've continued to be wrong on Matthew Fitzpatrick for now multiple weeks in a row, but I'm going to continue to go down with the ship here and say that his putting rates are unsustainable. At some point, they are going to regress back to the norm, and I'm still continuing to fade Matthew Fitzpatrick. As the owner of a Sung Jae Im ticket to win the PGA Championship at 140-1 from December, it pains me to say that I have to fade Sung Jae Im this week. So, of course, I still own that ticket. I think he's down to 66-1 for this week, but I am lacking so much confidence in his game right now. And you guys know how much I love Sung Jae, and I think he is the next best thing. He's unbelievable. But since the restart, he has just been very bad, and unfortunately, he's been very bad in the category that I think is the most important, which is strokes gained approach, the category that tends to be the stickiest, and it continues to get worse for Sung Jae, who lost 5.4 strokes on approach last week at the WGC FedEx St. Jude while gaining 8 strokes putting. That is a terrible combination, and it now marks the 6th straight event in which Sung Jae Im has lost strokes on approach. He has never done that. To put that into perspective, in his young career, he had only lost strokes on approach one other time. Actually, yeah, that goes back to this season. Leading up to this bad stretch, he had only lost on approach once. Now he's done it in 6 straight starts. There is something wrong. He needs a system reboot, but unfortunately, Sung Jae Im cannot get investment from me this week. That'll do it for the top 5 fades for the PGA Championship. Let me know what you think about those players, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, or what you think about this video or other videos, trying to figure out what type of content we're going to have moving forward. And this is one of the options. So throwing it out there. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Tweet me at RickRunGood. Best of luck this week. I'll talk to you guys soon.